I am not my breath. I am not even my body. I move beyond my mind. I move beyond thinking. I move beyond even a single thought. And I invite Samuel and my guides to speak through me. Welcome back. He feels us. He feels us move in from above and behind. Schooled on this he was last week. His instructor talked of this thing you call mediumship, like a toolbox. Learning new techniques, refining others. So his tools to work with spirit are more numerous. We feel him sensing these silent periods, and we remind him as well as you, that when you sit in the silence, do not think just because you don't sense anything going on that we are not busy, dear ones. There is much going on. Much indeed. Are there any questions, dear ones?
When you say that everything is busy, is it busy?
On our side, dear ones.
On your side. Working with all of us at the same time. Is that right?
In this circle, yes.
That was my question.
That was your question. I had an interesting thing happen. A friend of mine asked me to do a prayer for someone who had just had a kind of a fender bender. And when I was saying it for the person, which I call treatment and people call prayer, I felt as though this person had around them angels of grace. It was as though it was like I just tapped in versus, I was centered in the divine presence to go ahead and do the prayer. But I don't believe I've had such a joyous choir around anybody as this woman had. It was kind of like, okay, is that I don't even know how to explain that experience even to myself, because I've not had that, because I was really kind of tapping into like her aura or something, what was going on with her. Usually it's a letting go and a gratitude that divine presence is.
You can. Some connections are stronger than others, are they not?
And let me add, I don't even really know this person.
Does it matter?
Well, no.
On a soul level, she connected with you. Matters not that you didn't know her. For you speak of the earthly realm when you say that.
That's true. Because I always begin, there's one life, there's one mind, and that life are mine, right here and right now. And I affirm whatever the affirmation is, and go from there. But I just wasn't used to the angelic realm, being so almost visible.
We met new guides or new angels. A new crew.
It was with her. It's kind of like, we got this.
I have a question about the book, The Way of the Mastery.
Mm-hmm.
They say that book is channeled by Jesus. Is that true?
He hesitates to say yes. Sometimes this one still is unsure. Jesus' teachings show up in many different ways.
Do you have any thoughts on, are you familiar with that book, Samuel? Do you have any thoughts on that, on how it came about? Or it's a beautiful book. I love it. It's beautifully written. I enjoy reading it.
It brings much peace.
They also said the Course in Miracles was channeled by Jesus. So I'm just
You
wondering.
took the words out of our mouth, my dear.
You're welcome.
This thing called channeling, do not those two books? It is a good example. Does not the Course in Miracles read a bit different than the Way of Mastery?
Yes, it's much more difficult.
And we tell you that even this one before you, when messages are channeled through, be it a book, be it a person sitting in front of you, how do we say this? They are not pure spirit. This one we speak through is young at this, and there is more of him at this stage than there really is of us. Think of it as a percentage. The more he works with us, the higher percentage of us we can bring through in its purest state. It is the same with those two books you mentioned.
Are you talking about filters, Samuel?
You can call the medium a filter, or the person channeling the book a filter, yes. Even though he does his best to step aside, he is not completely out of the way, so to speak. And we tell you that is true of all channels. For this is not all that different than, say, learning how to cook. Some things take time. He asked us before you showed up tonight, should he open in the same manner? And we told him yes, because he is comfortable with this procedure he has developed over the last 12 or 15 months.
That's pretty human. Comfort
It
zone.
comes with the package that you stepped into when you were born. This human form you elected to come back into.
Samuel, what did you think about the training that took place this past week?
We know this one we speak through enjoyed it very much. Think back to your days when you were in school, just as we discussed of these two books. Were not there teachers in your life that had a greater impact on you than others? That was the case for him last week. He likes this word, resonate. There was a certain resonance between he and the instructor. A wealth of knowledge presented in a way, presented with some humor, but knowing full well how dedicated the instructor was to his craft, to his responsibility to bring it forth in a way that was both instructive and kind. You spoke earlier of this prayer that resonated with you. You felt you had this deeper connection with this one you prayed for. In his healing training, he experienced such a moment. This technique, remember, dear ones, all is energy, was called a proxy healing. The one who sat in front of him had an envelope. In that envelope was what you call a Ziploc bag with a handkerchief in it. And on that envelope, the sitter was instructed to write a name of someone he wished to have healing for. So this one, all he saw was a name on an envelope. He was instructed to open the baggie, and take out the handkerchief and put it between his hands. The sitter was told to respond purely with yes and no answers. Within moments, he knew the one he was holding in this healing presence had a car accident, hit a tree, got confirmation no other vehicles were involved, got confirmation no other people were with her in the car, superficial head injury she had, yet he was overwhelmed by how scared she was. He felt this. Due to the limitations of the time constraints, they were told to get 3 hits. The head injury was a hit. This great fear she had was a hit. As he searched, he found it difficult for this fear. This woman was very scared. And then what arose in him was her sense of guilt. He knew the sitter was trying to get him to go even deeper than that, trying to confirm where the guilt arose from. And suddenly this one realized Spirit was telling him what he was putting into this that he held in his hands. Compassion, a sense of calm and love. He closed, put the handkerchief in the bag, sealed it up, sealed it in the envelope, and gave it to George, who was sitting across from him. As they wrapped up, George filled in the guilt piece. She totaled her car. She had no funds for a new one. She was in much distress over this. A friend stepped forward that had an extra vehicle and offered to just give it to her, and she felt tremendous guilt for taking such a gift. We share this, dear ones, to let you know it is as the prayer. She said she didn't really not know the person. This one had no idea of who that person was, the name on the envelope. He barely knew the person sitting in front of him. Yet we tell you, prayer was heard. His healing was sent. His healing energy is in that cloth that she now possesses.
Now that brings up something else, because I know like in the Catholic Church, they always bless these things and then you buy them and it's supposed to have the blessing come with it. So you're saying since everything is energy, that if that's the intention, then it's actually true.
And the blessing is given with love, yes. Intent, when it comes from the heart, is so powerful, dear ones. Is that not what Sarah always tells you? You are loved beyond measure, and when you express that from your heart, there is no distance it cannot travel.
I have a question. Speaking of energy, many people say that when you burn sage, it helps to cleanse you, the area. Is that true? I love the smell of the sage, and it does make me feel better. And does the smoke have anything to do with the way the smoke burns? Does that have anything to do with, say, energy or cleansing?
Loving intent, how can we say, will amplify the effect of the sage. Yes, it has a cleansing component to it. All these things we have discussed are amplified by loving intent.
So when I used the sage the other night, and I saged in my house, and my intent was just to general cleanse, but when I went over the bed, a friend of mine stayed in, and the smoke just, what was that? Or was it? It was very, I've never seen that before. Was it thought? You tell us. Share it with us. Good or bad, Sharon? You can tell me I'm silly. Oh.
We could guess, Samuel.
Did we just not tell you of this energy that he put into the cloth. Your friend's energy was still in that room, in that bed.
So by the smoke going and just continuing to do that, what was it saying, I guess, is what I'm asking you. Just energy, it was just letting me know it was still there, is that it?
Much love, much gratitude is what we tell you.
It was very cool. It was something. It was almost like magic. And I stage a lot, but I never saw that happen. Huh. Well, that makes a lot of sense, because, yes, there was a lot of love and gratitude. And fun. Thank you.
She left a surprise behind for you.
Oh, it was a wonderful surprise. And that's why my animals kept going in there for a few days. They were still sensing her energy, huh? Yes. Because they hardly ever go in that room.
I probably smelled it.
Interesting.
Sense.
Hmm.
Like their mojo. Her mojo.
Yeah.
Good mojo.
And Ruby, as long as she wasn't there, Ruby. But went looking for her when she was gone. That was funny.
There is energy and laughter, dear ones. His instructor used that often last week. If he felt, especially after lunchtime, that the energies in the room were waning, he was prone to make a joke, so to speak, or tell a funny story, to raise the energy in the group, to allow the teachings to seek in deeper. There is joy and love and laughter. Cannot you feel the energy shift just when a smile crosses your face? Awareness we speak of yet again. Joy and laughter. So many things to be grateful and thankful for.
We thank you, Samuel.
Is it time already, dear ones?
You can tell us some more nuggets in the next 3 minutes.
We think you should extend the time now that you're doing this longer, just by about 10 minutes. It does go quickly.
Yeah. I sure do like Keith's dog. Wink.
Oh, can I ask, what was Wink looking at, just sensing the energy of you when
When
he
you
first
walked
started?
in,
He just sat there
walked
like
at Keith.
a little soldier, just staring and staring.
Tension, maybe?
She senses the energy shift. Realize by the time he sat down, we are already moving very close. This blending we discussed, it's not instantaneous, so to speak. We wish for you to work with us. We do not wish to scare you. So we move in gradually. We move in slowly. His instructor last week spent much time discussing those matters, especially in this trance state, especially when we can
What?
move
Move.
the limbs, move the fingers. Realize we have never, bad terminology, we move into his aura. And that's as far as it goes, dear ones. Yes, there are, how do we say, deeper levels of moving into the aura, but it never goes beyond that. There is no quote unquote taking over. If at any moment he wishes to end this, we will step away. He used to think of this as a surrender, so to speak, where he would just attempt to quiet himself and slip into the background His instructor last week had a different terminology for that. He called it passive participation.
When Keith gets messages from someone, say for me, is that totally different than, say, you moving into his aura? That's a totally different thing. Like if
You're talking communication.
so, it's a
The
totally
communication, the main difference in that instance is the communication is specifically for you, dear one.
But that person communicating, do they come into his aura or no?
I think it would be the same way.
No, that's what I mean. It's
No,
not as
yeah,
it's different.
I would think so. Yeah.
Is it?
You asked the same questions all of his group was asking today. What are all these levels you're talking about?
Well, maybe I should listen to his group. It's curiosity.
He can print this off for you. He spent much time on it today.
Is that the Soul's Awakening group?
Yes.
So you have
There are levels. Just like you can feel different levels of energy in your physical body during the day, there are levels of consciousness that we connect through. The one that instructed him last week talked about the first level as just being an attunement level, a preparation level, where you make yourself available. You quiet your mind, you get into this passive state. Different, how do we say? Well, the second level is a finer attunement. That is where this thing that he has worked with occasionally, this evidential mediumship, functions. Understand, in evidential mediumship, there is an active role that has to occur. It's a different. Evidential mediumship is quite different, actually. For he is not accessing the normal energy he works with. He is accessing, how do we say this? He is asking if there is a message to be delivered from a loved one for the sitter. In that respect, it is different. When he does that, there are so many layers on this, dear ones. When he does that, he does not feel the presence like he feels it now. He feels the presence of the loved one, of the sitter. But as we said, there are layers. He sat in trance a number of weeks ago for a friend. And this for him was an unusual experience. For he felt the friend's loved one come through, but he was there alone. He recorded this, and he felt as if that loved one, how do we say, communicated with Samuel, and Samuel is the one who spoke his words. This was a unique experience for him. Many paths, shall we say, for information to flow from the spirit world into this realm. And all are perfectly fine. No one is better than the other, just different. So most of the time during these things you call trance channeling, trance healing, the method he was instructed in, that these are levels 3 and 4. All of his instruction revolved around those first 4 levels last week. Some mention was made of levels 5 through 7, but they are progressively deeper.
Well, that would be for another day, Samuel. We appreciate you coming. Mary Jo got what she wanted.
She got her extra time.
We appreciate you.
We do not mind, dear ones. We appreciate you. We thank you.
Thank you, Samuel.
And we bid you a warm, heartfelt, and loving adieu.
Thank you, Samuel. You must always say adieu. Never change that. It's kind of like welcome back.
I do. I like it. I do. I do. I do.
And what does that mean? Something God?
No, I think it means it's a
It's
farewell.
just a farewell. No, but
In
Eileen
French,
looked it up and it means something to do with God. Do you remember?
Go with God or something like that.
Yeah, I don't, something with God.
I thought it was something like to God or something like that. I had to
Yeah.
look that up again.
When it
There
first
was
started.
some God connection.
Yeah. Well, that was cool.